Today I will discuss design for manufacturing process. In this, steps involved in the engineering design process. So in this I will highlight few important points about the design for manufacturing process. First, we are identifying the customer need, and next we are defining the problem. Once if you have to define the problem, that will begin with the activities, and then based on that activities, so what are the steps involved for the manufacturing process. So steps in the engineering design process broadly classified into three main steps. One is conceptual design, embodiment design, and detailed design. In conceptual design, in some books they are classified, they are divided into 5 steps, or in some books they divided into 4 steps. So here the first step is identification of customer need, and second one is define a problem, third one is gather information, fourth is concept generation and evaluation of concepts. In some book, identification of customer need and define problems, they will consider it as a single step. So I will start with the conceptual design. So conceptual design, in this process, conceptual design process, we will initiate the design. So we are start with the design and come up with number of design concepts, and then narrow down to the single best concepts. So in that I will consider first is identification of customer need. So the main objective of this is to completely understand the customer needs. Completely understand the customer needs, and same need where communicate with the design team. This is the main objective of the identification of the customer need. And the next is define problem. So in this, what we have to do it, we have to create a statement that describe. So whatever the statement we have to create it, that statement should describe all the customer needs requirements. So in such a way that we have to create the statement. And the next is gather information. So in this step, so we have to collect all the information about the product. So whatever the information we have to collect it, that should be helpful for developing and translating customer needs into engineering design. So for example, I will take one example. I want to design a new bike or car. So in this, I have to collect the information about the existing vehicle. That may be, for example, in this, so what is the capacity of that, fuel capacity of that vehicle? What is the length of that vehicle? What is the height of that vehicle? And what type of engines they are used in the existing vehicle. So like that, where we have to collect the information about that product. So whatever the information we are collecting, that should be helpful for converting customer needs into engineering design. And next is concept generation. So this concept generation, we have to call it as the conceptualization. So in this step, we are generate the concepts, means the set of concepts we have to generate it, whatever the concepts were to generate it, that should potentially satisfy the customer statement or problem statement. And the next step is evaluation of concepts. In this step, we have to evaluate the various design concepts. So if any concept is suited, then we have to consider it. Otherwise, we have to modify in the existing concepts and then evolving into single preferred concept. So this is about the conceptual design. Next, we'll move to the embodiment design. In the embodiment design, so this were generally were considered three major tasks. The first one is product architecture, configuration design, and third one is parametric design. So in the product architecture, the overall design concept is divided into small subsystems and modules. So in this step, we have to decide how the physical component of the design are to be arranged in order to combine them to carry out the functional duties of the design. So what we have to do it in the product architecture? So the overall design system were divided into small subsystems and modules. Then we have decide the physical component of the design in order to arrange or in order to combine them to carry out the functional duties of the design. So that we have to do it in the product architecture. And the next one is configuration design. In this step, we are determine or we have to identify all the features that is required for various parts or components. And second one is how these features are arranged in a space that are relative to each other. That we have to do it in the configuration design. And third one is parametric design. So generally this step is start with the information from the configuration design. So, and what is the aim of this design process is, so we have to establish exact dimensions and tolerances of the product. And sometimes if you are not taking any decision about the material and manufacturing process in the previous steps or in the previous process, that is in the configuration design, so in parametric design we have to take the decision about the materials and manufacturing process. And one more very important aspect of the parametric design is to examine whatever the design we developed it, that design is robust or not. So we have to examine it in the parametric design. And the last step is detailed design. So in this phase, that design is brought to state where it has the complete engineering description of a tested and producible product. Means in this, so the detailed description about that product, that should consist the detailed design. For example, if any information is missing in the previous steps, so here those informations are to do it in the detailed design. For example, if you are not taken any decision about the material, manufacturing process, dimensions, tolerances, arrangement, about arrangement. So those informations, if you missed it in any steps, those informations you have to collect it and you have to do it in the detailed design. And this detailed design, detailed engineering drawings suitable for the manufacturing processes are prepared in the detailed design itself only. Thank you.